All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have just outsmarted the rest of the NFL. This is a sneaky good team that made the playoffs last year. People aren't talking about them, kind of forgetting about them, moving on to like the newest, shiniest things. It's like, man, the Tampa Bay Bucks are a good team. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel talking about teams and stories that are kind of under the radar. Just because Lions were under the radar forever. I don't know if under the radar, just disrespected because they weren't good, and it's just they never got love. It's like so we kind of like to do that on this channel. So here's how the Bucks outsmarted the rest of the NFL. And before we do that, let me know in the comments your favorite Buccaneers player, like non-obvious one. So, like I was thinking John Lynch, that's kind of an obvious one. Who's your favorite Buccaneers player? Again, don't go like the home run hitter player. I kind of did there with John Lynch. I liked him because he was the last of that era of tough guy, hit you over the middle back when that was allowed. Like that was just a different kind. I love football now, but that was John Lynch is who I'm gonna put. But put in the comments, and you guys will see as you look at the comments, like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that guy. So non-obvious one. Okay, the Buccaneers have outsmarted the NFL because they have found Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is perfect in today's NFL because this is a look at the average salaries of these quarterbacks. And all the way down here, you'll see Baker Mayfield making his just $33 million a year. The top guys are making 55. You see Jordan Love, you see Tua, Jared Goff. All of these guys got contracts this offseason. And what is happening? Well, if you're any sort of good, it's like you just go to the top. You go to the top. And now we're at 55, 55. And now we know the salary cap is going to go up again. So in just another year, Baker Mayfield is going to be a bargain at 33 million. And then when he is due again for another contract, it's like, fine, give him 40 million. I don't care. Here's 40 million. He's super happy. You're happy because you're not having to pay 55, 60 million dollars for a quarterback. So the Buccaneers, I'll get back to that in just a second. The more you look at it, the more it's like, wow, the Buccaneers were smart enough to say, you know what? He can win us games. Saw it last year, went to the playoffs, won a game. He can win us games, but he's not so good that there's this expectation that we have to pay him a ton of money. So it's like, why don't we jump on this? Hey, Baker, here's $33 million a year. He's thinking, all right, I'll take that. And you, as a Buccaneers fan, you're like, whoa, $33 million. It's a bargain. You see it right there. Another thing is it's really hard to find a really good quarterback. That's step one. Everyone would do it if they could. It's hard to find them. But if you do find them, like a CJ Stroud, the bill's going to come due. And CJ Stroud in a couple of years will be getting $65 million a year. You can't tell me that doesn't hurt your football team. Now, if you're worth it and you're that good, fine. But see, there's that Tua contract right there. And that proves my point even more that the Buccaneers were smart with Baker Mayfield. Hey, man, I don't know. You could probably go somewhere else. We like you here. You do well here. Here's $33 million. He's 29 years old. And you look at Tua making $53 million a year. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't, his potential, his abilities don't add up to that. So for them to recognize that, it's awesome for the Buccaneers franchise because you could say, no, we want to do something different. We want to find somebody different. But you look at Geno Smith, you look at some of these guys, Daniel Jones even, that are right in that mid-range. That's almost where you want to be in today's NFL. Good enough to win, but not too good, where you price so high that it's like, man, we're putting everything on you and you've got to be great. So if you look then, and this is why I bring this up, because if you go to this roster, you've got a capable quarterback. Okay, but he's not good enough to just carry the team on his own. He needs help. Okay. Running back, check. Wide receivers, check. Offensive line. Now you've got your tackle who you can pay money now and not bat an eye at it. And he's happy, you're happy. You've got the money. You've got an extra $30 million laying around per year. Kancey's gonna need money here before long. Fine. Here you go. Versus like, man, can we keep him? Can we trade him? Can we get weird? You can do what the Detroit Lions have done now recently, where it's like, okay, Kancey, you're a no-brainer. We Want you here as soon as he's available. They jump on it, boom. Because again, even at that position, they keep resetting the market. So it's like, let's get in and get him right away, and then let the other lineman, outpace that. But let's pay him right away. So he's happy. He gets his money. You're like, hey, yeah, no problem. But you can do that because you've got extra money from not having to pay a quarterback this ridiculous amount of money. So same thing. Jameel Dean, Antoine Winfield Jr., Levante David. You've got star players, but then you've also got young players that you won't hesitate to pay because you can keep Baker Mayfield around because he has proven that he can win you games, and you're going to roll the dice. What I mean by that is you look at what he did last year, played against the Detroit Lions, and it's like, you know what? We got outplayed and the Lions beat us. Fine. But we had a chance. They had opportunities in that game, and that's all you can ask for. We're in the second round of the playoffs because we won our division. That's another thing. I'll get back to that in just a second. Won our division, home playoff game, won that. Go to Detroit. The place is on fire up there. It was a tough game. We didn't win. Fine. So couldn't be happier. And that's another thing. You have this division that it's like, we don't need a star quarterback. We just don't. So why would we be chasing for a star quarterback? Meaning giving up draft capital to go get a quarterback, spending huge money in free agency. There's not even good quarterbacks available in free agency. So we got to give up everything we can to go up and try to find a quarterback in the top 10 of the NFL draft, only to see that they may or may not work. And we bring in this weird competition with Baker, and he's getting asked. And it's just like, man, these guys have been so smart with Baker Mayfield. I go back and forth with Baker, from he sucks to, you know what? If you pan out and look at the whole grand scheme of things, he's perfect. And I'd actually like him on my team if I'm a fan, because he doesn't cost the extra $20 million a year. I mean, that's another two other starters that you could pay $10 million a year. That's enough money for you to kind of get ready and prepare for some of these contracts to come up and come due. So I think it's really important. Next thing is you look, and it's been a small sample size, but the retooled run scheme fits players' strengths. The Bucs finished the exhibition with 136 yards on the ground. Okay, 136 on the ground. You've got Bucky Irving, 28 rush yards, 6 carries. He had Irving capped off an 8-play, 77-yard drive with a 5-yard run up the middle. You've got running backs. It's like, hey, we're going to run the ball. Baker can put the game on his back if he needs to, but let's just be real serious about running the football. We know our defense is going to keep us in every game. So what? And let's win the division, home playoff game, win that game, and let's go somewhere. And now we've got 1 or 2 games, and we're in the Super Bowl. And it's like, we're not that far away. So I love this. I love what the Buccaneers have done. I think it's absolutely what you do, because look at this schedule. I'm not going to go through every game, but I'm just looking at these first 2 weeks. I mean, 100% win. It's got to be, because then you go to Detroit again. They're going to be on fire. The stadium's just going to be crazy as ever. So it's like, all right, we win. Let's say we lose, but then we got Denver. That could be the worst team in the NFL. So you start the season 2-1, and for a first place schedule, this one's not bad. Eagles tough. So that's why this first game is a must win. You can't start 0-2. Then you're hoping to win this game. And then, then you go to the Eagles, or Eagles come to you. So, but I just look at this right here. It's like, man, win against Washington. You're off and running, and the division is yours for the taking. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. And man, if you're a Buccaneers fan, you got to be feeling pretty good. And we'll see all of you on the next one.